Do you see that behind me? That's a When Calls the Heart secret recipe. Can you guess who is the cook behind the secret recipe? It's not Bill. He taught me how to make his blueberry compote for pancakes. Check that out. And it's not Gustave, because he shared many recipes with me, like the delicious vichyssoise. You can check that one out. This one might surprise you. It's Elizabeth. And she actually made this for none other than Lucas. Kind of. Stay tuned. Over the course of 3 years, we have seen Lucas wine and dine and take care of Elizabeth. They've shared many meals, starting with a working lunch, which you can see right here.
I think you should have the honor at the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Oh, well, thank you, but I really think you should be the one to do it.
No, we wouldn't even have a library to begin with if you hadn't donated the building.
Yes, but you are the inspiration. What about this? We'll cut the ribbon together. What do you think?
Sure.
Lucas, there's a call for you from Cape Fullerton.
Thank you, Fiona. I will be by later to help you with the library. And I will leave you to your planning.
And then not one, but 2 romantic picnics. As well as 3 intimate dinners. That Lucas, he just knows how to take care of Elizabeth. And Elizabeth knows how to take care of Lucas. It was meant to be. I'll tell you the story. Walk with me. Elizabeth wanted to become better in the kitchen. She wanted to impress those who were eating her meals. So she perfected her shepherd's pie. Guess where she got that recipe? From Miss Maggie, her chef back home. Now, Miss Maggie, she was from Ireland, and she would teach Elizabeth some tricks, and she would send her recipes. So Elizabeth said, I've perfected the shepherd's pie, Miss Maggie. How can you help me? And she said, Miss Maggie said, I have a stew for you, and I have 2 special wows for the stew. One is a secret ingredient, and the other one is something that not everyone adds, but they should. So let's talk about the secret ingredient first. The secret ingredient is whiskey. Maggie is Irish. Whiskey. Do not leave the whiskey out of your recipe. And the second special ingredient inside the stew, I will save for you in a bit. Now, what exactly does this have to do with Elizabeth and Lucas? Well, Elizabeth perfected the stew. And one cold winter's night, very close to Christmas, she made some for dinner. And at the same time, Lucas was in charge of the Christmas events that year in Hope Valley, and he was doing a carnival. And they had so many people come from all over that he needed the residents' help from Hope Valley, and everyone brought sort of like what would be called a potluck. And Elizabeth had her stew, and she brought her stew. Let me refresh your memory in case you forgot all about that wonderful Christmas special. Here we go.
What's going on?
Emergency delivery.
What kind of emergency?
The saloon has run out of food.
Yep.
Oh. Well, I might have some leftover stew.
Oh, great idea. Well, that chicken was absolutely delicious.
That chicken was Monday's special.
The stew was fabulous.
Well, that came from Elizabeth's. She's come a long way in the kitchen. What's so fun? Everyone brought what they were planning on having for dinner.
And everybody got a little something. It was great.
Okay, so now it's time for the recipe. Follow along, it's very easy, and stay to the end because then you will see what Miss Maggie adds to her stew that gives that little Irish flair and just makes a home-cooked meal, all the more delicious. You will begin the stew with 2 pounds of cut up beef and toss it in 2 tablespoons of flour per batch. You'll probably have about 3 batches. And then you will fry them in batches or sear them in batches with 1 tablespoon of oil per batch. And then when they have a nice coating on them, you will put them to the side and reserve them there until you have finished each batch. And then you will have crispy critters at the bottom, which make for a delicious gravy. Then you add 1 small onion with 1 tablespoon of oil and some dried thyme. Allow that to cook and sear and simmer. And then you will add half a cup of whiskey and 1 tablespoon of flour. Stir and let thicken for about 5 minutes. Once it has thickened, then you can add back the beef and all of the juices, and then you can add 6 cups of beef stock. Once you've added the beef stock, you then can allow that to cook for about an hour. Once it has cooked for an hour, you then can add in your vegetables, a cup of carrots, 4 potatoes cut up, and you allow that to cook slowly for about 45 minutes. In the last 45 minutes, you're going to add you guessed it, Maggie's dumplings. Here's the recipe for Maggie's dumplings. Sift together 1 cup of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and then incorporate a half a cup of half and half with 2 tablespoons of oil. Mix and form a dough. The dough can then be spoon dropped into the stewing liquid and cook for approximately 15 minutes. They will become light and fluffy. They even help to thicken the stew. Yum. I'm telling you, it is yum. So here it is, Elizabeth's stew with dumplings. Now, think about this. Elizabeth was one of many people from the town that brought over something from their house. And Lucas could have eaten anything and he ate her stew. So already there's this little link. And not only did he eat it, he loved it. And he didn't even know it was hers. So they were already making that connection. Fate was on their side for them to be getting together. I can't wait to see what Lucas might be cooking for Elizabeth in season 9, or Elizabeth cooking for Lucas. That just whole family dynamic and courtship. I am so excited. And think about this. Lucas has eaten meals around the world. That's what the carnival was about. And yet what he liked the most was the stew. And here's why. Miss Maggie told this to Elizabeth. It's not that you have to be the best cook. You're cooking from your heart in your kitchen. It's a home cooked meal, and that is the best kind of meal. Even Lucas would have to agree. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Roxanne, and this is Everything About Hallmark.